Hi guys, welcome to A Crone's Life. This is Carrie. I wanted to revisit an old hashtag that Lisa Papez did. I'm pretty sure it came out last year, although it could have been 2023. Sorry, I just can't remember, but I'll link it below. 21 tarot questions. It was so much fun to do the last time I did it, and I can remember really kind of agonizing about what decks to choose for what questions. And this time I tried to do it more like the way she did, where you just kind of grab the deck that you're thinking about when you read the question. So not all of my answers have changed, but most of them have, because obviously things change. But my library has changed. I've learned a lot of new techniques in tarot, and some things I really have not jumped into the way I thought that I would back when I answered these questions before. So the prompts will also be listed in the description box, so that in case anybody else wants to revisit this hashtag. The first question is, what deck is the one that they'll have to pry out of your cold, dead hands? And last time I said the Marielle, which is still true, but I decided to go with the nameless one because it's an indie deck, and I'm pretty sure I would be able to replace any of the mass markets like the Marielle, but I'm not positive that I would ever be able to replace the nameless one. So I've grown very attached to this deck. And there's no words. They do not, Zia Hunt did not put any titles or keywords on this. It's all sigils. If you haven't seen this before, I encourage you to go look at other people's walkthroughs and maybe go to her website and check it out. The dots on the sigils is the number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that is the 7 of Wands. And the flagpoles are the indication of the suit. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's the 5 of Wands. 3, 4 of Pentacles. And the other sigils are either the Oracle, because I've mixed them in, or they're the Major Arcana. So that is the nameless one by Zia Hunt. It also has a companion grimoire, and I believe there's matching altar cloths and merchandise. She really keeps her store pretty well stocked. So the second prompt is, what is your guilty pleasure deck? And this also has changed. Mine is the Witch's Wisdom. This is the Witch's Wisdom, sorry. So my guilty pleasure deck is the Witch's Wisdom deck, and it is a guilty pleasure because I was an idiot, and I ended up buying 3 of these because I was trying to get the guidebook. I could not find the guidebook by itself, and I was fooled into thinking I was buying the deck and the guidebook the second time, and it took a third time to get the guidebook. So yeah, a little ridiculous, but yeah, I love this deck. It's one of my very favorites. I'm not unhappy with the deck itself. I just now have backup copies. The artist, the creators, reordered the major arcana, so it was difficult to read this without the guidebook. I needed a little bit of prompting on how she viewed every card backwards order, why she would have done that, and so yeah, I just needed a little bit of help understanding her unusual concept. So I've read the guidebook a couple of times. I really love her take on everything being backwards and why she chose to do that. And yeah, no regrets. It's just a beautiful, beautiful deck. Question number 3 is, what is the deck you wish existed? And my answer last time was Fez Inkwright's Seed and Sickle, if he would make a tarot deck in that same style, which still hasn't happened, but I'm less sad about it because there's so many other beautiful things out there. The deck that I wish existed is a Borderlands deck, and Borderlands is a video game that I've played with lots of my family members, and many times over. Played through the main quests and a lot of the DLCs. I was gonna say I wish that there were a better Skyrim deck, but that's yeah, it's probably not gonna happen. Borderlands probably won't happen either, but I've discovered make playing cards, and maybe there's some way I could do the artwork and make a deck for myself, but we'll see how that goes. Difficult to say how that would ever work out. Question number 4 is, what deck would you give to a new reader? And I'm keeping the answer the same. I would give a new reader a Rider-Waite-Smith deck, anything traditional with the original illustrations, because whenever you're taking a class or you're learning from the internet, you're going to be referencing these images, and whether you like it or not, Rider-Waite-Smith is the most common tarot deck system out there, so I would encourage anyone, I would gift someone this type of deck, just because they may not like it for themselves, but they would end up wanting to reference it, and yep, that would be be the easiest thing, is just to make sure they have it for their own learning purposes. So. The Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Number 5 is, what deck do you want to get along with, but it never clicked? My answer today is the Starlore Tarot by Urania Press. I've been using this on my altar the last few days, and it didn't work out. It didn't click. I don't know. I wanted to learn more about astrology. I wanted to use this as a tool, but it's just not, I don't know. It's not clicking. It's not hard. They've got lots of information in the guidebook. It's just not for me, I guess, or not for me right now. So I've put it away, and I'll try again some other time. Again, this is the Starlore Tarot. Number 6 is, what deck did you keep only for the art? And this might be a popular answer. The Nemeth Tarot. The artwork is beautiful. I do not have the guidebook. It may be an online guidebook, I'm not positive, but I do not understand references of the cards, so right now it's just really pretty. And again, that's the Nemeth Tarot. Number 7 is, what deck did you buy because everyone else did? I'm going to stick to the fact that I bought the Lightseer Tarot because everyone else did, but I didn't want to go dig it out. So this is also one that I bought because everyone else did, and maybe it's because not as many people raved about it. I mean, yes, it's very popular, but I just feel like it wasn't exactly the same kind of hype that the Lightseer Tarot had, that I couldn't compare it to that one. But this one definitely is popular, and I bought it because everyone else did. It's definitely opened my eyes to Angie Sullen's writing. She does a great guidebook. I am interested in everything else she's done now, but this deck is so wonderful. For me, it lived up to its hype, for sure. And This is Wisdom of the Wild Things Oracle by Angie Sullins. Prompt number 8 is what deck is over your head or just baffles you. I have one for each of those. The Picatrix Deckens is over my head for sure. I have not done a deck and walk, and I do not know how to use these cards really at all, but I have them. This is my guidebook. It's a piece of paper. I imagine I will have to do the deck and walk to learn how to use these cards. So, very cool. And then the tarot deck that baffles me. Okay, so that was the Picatrix Deckens. It's 36 cards. The tarot deck that baffles me is the Mystical Dream Tarot. I used to think I understood this deck pretty well, just because there's a lovely guidebook and all you really have to do is read. But the more I've tried to use it, the less I feel like I understand it. And these are the backs. They're silvery. I'm not giving up on it yet, though. I'm going to continue to try and use this. I think I would like to find a perfect pairing for it, and maybe I won't be so baffled. But it throws me off just about every time it is answering a question of mine, so we shall see what the future holds, right? And that is the Mystical Dream Tarot. Number 9 is what deck surprised you, and to be honest, all my decks surprise me. I'm usually surprised by learning their personality and how accurate they are. Sometimes I'm surprised by how disconnected I feel, but this deck surprised me by how much I loved it from the start. I fell in love with this deck. It's The Little Monsters by Olivia Pepper and Peony Archer. I backed this version on Kickstarter, and when it came in, I was so happy. I'm not sure what made me fall in love with it so quickly, but it is a black and white deck. The creatures are so adorable. Having an oval deck is very new to me. I have some round decks. I do not have another oval deck. I don't recall how I've shuffled this in the past, but it's obviously shuffled. I adore this deck. I do have a lot of decks that I fall in love with quickly. This one, like I said in the beginning of the video, I was just the first, I was answering the questions by the first thing that came to my mind. As I'm sitting here going through it, I know that the Lilith Tarot is another one that I fell in love with very quickly. But this one is probably the most recent one that surprised me to this extent. You know, it surprised me that much. And again, this is the Little Monsters Tarot by Olivia Pepper and Peony Archer. Number 10 is what deck doesn't really work for you, but you keep it because it's a collectible. The true answer is I don't have any decks that I keep only because they're collectibles. All of my collectible decks I use, but I'm going to show the Red Raven Tarot because I think this was the one I said last time was my collectible deck. I don't believe it's gone up in value or anything like that. It has to be the deck that I reach for the least out of the ones that I really love. These are the backs. It's a little odd, maybe. It's a little bit creepy. When I use it, I enjoy using it. I just don't use it very much. So in that respect, it would probably be on the chopping block if I were to try and declutter and just say, how much do I use it? Not much. Then it might be a candidate for finding a new home, but I don't really do that. So yeah, I guess this one could qualify as being a collectible. I don't know too many people that have it, but anyway, no, I really, really like it. And it took me a while to get used to the pips. It took me a while to be able to read it without struggling. I still have to pause sometimes with mostly with the major arcana. The minor arcana are pretty easy to figure out, like swords and so on, but the major arcana are a little bit cryptic with their imagery. So I think that's the Lovers. Bit different. Anyway, this is the Red Raven Tarot. I will leave the creator's name in the description box because I believe he's Chinese and I do not want to butcher his name. So number 11 is what is your favorite gilded deck? I'm gonna go with the James R. Eads Green Glyphs Tarot. I'm kind of into him right now. He picks great cardstock. The size of the cards is beautiful. He puts hollow on almost everything. So even though these are gold edges, they're also hollow. So they're hollow gold. I mean, how extra. Super, super cool. I'm going to move the box out of the way. I don't know if you can tell on the box, but he's got gold hollow accents. So pretty. But let me see the backs right here. But his decks are so unique, and I believe one thing that I love about this particular deck and the green glyphs in general is they're minimal, but they're still very, they fall into a storyteller style, and I love that. This could also be a deck that punches you in the face with the answer. The color scheme is beautiful. I think one reason why I love everything he does is because he doesn't do anything halfway. He puts 100% of effort into the project, and when it's done, it's complete. There's no raw edges. It's finely tuned. It's well thought out. Perfectly executed. So this is the Green Glyphs Tarot by James R. Eads, and it has, right now, it has my favorite gilding. Number 12 is What Deck Do You Love But Hate the Cardstock? I really thought that I did not have a deck that would fit this, but I spent a moment considering what has frustrated me about cardstock. And this deck definitely fits this question. This is the Mantra Oracle. I love this deck. It has changed the way I do, I don't know, it's changed the way I spend my days, I guess. It's awesome. Love it. It has beautiful gold edges. What I hate about the cardstock is that it comes in this double box, and each stack on each side of the box, when I first got it, they were cut differently. See? So if I try to tap these together as best I can and really press them together, you can still see the corners are not the same. They cut the cards wrong. It makes me a little crazy when I'm shuffling and dealing with the deck. Like, all you had to do, the card stock itself is great. It's so soft and really beautiful, and the cards are the right size, and yet they're cut wrong. Like, what were you thinking? I'll show you a few of the cards, but I think you'd understand. I think you understand what I'm talking about. I've considered cutting them down. I really like the gold edges, but I really hate the way that they're cut. So I could take them down. The outside border is the same as the inside border. I could take them down that much and they would be better, but I haven't decided that that is the most important thing to worry about. But after using this deck, I looked into mantras and I listened to them at least weekly. And I don't know, I love them. I love listening to them. I love trying to sing along. I love the way it makes me feel after I've had a session. And I don't think I would have known about this special feeling without this deck. So I am in love with the deck, just really hate the way the cards are cut. All right. Biggest gripe. Okay. This is the Mantra Oracle, and it is by Lilyberry Colvin. And buyer beware, I guess. I don't think every deck is like this. I just was a lucky one, I suppose. Number 13 is what deck gives you the willies, and it's probably the same deck as last time, I'm not positive. It is the Murder of Crows. This is such a creepy deck to me. I know it's a favorite out there in the community, and I can understand why. The artwork is gorgeous. The mood is very in your face. But I don't know, something about it, it's creepy. It definitely gives me the willies. I actually have given this to my daughter. She said she would use it. She wasn't using it. That's why it's in the video. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to have it. But, right. Yeah, this deck, and I think maybe I said it last time, but I'll go ahead and repeat myself. I don't mind creepy images. I don't know. I'm okay with creepy images, but I'm not crazy about a whole deck being creepy, a whole deck being spooky. This is a whole deck. Oh my goodness, look at him. It's terrifying. Ooh. No, I think the possibility of a single card coming up and creeping me out is one thing, but every single card that I'm drawing creeps me out. Nope. I just can't do it. Alright, so that is the Murder of Crows. Number 14 is what is your favorite deck for shadow work? And this is a new addition to my collection, the Eflorescent Tarot. I did not realize this when I went to buy it or when I was purchasing it, but the deck is full of melancholy images. Like, all the people look sad. There's the edges. It's beautiful. Again, this is by Peony Archer. But it's so subdued, and I don't know. There's not any real expression of joy in the deck. Very unusual. But it works perfectly for shadow work. So this is the Eflorescent Tarot by Peony Archer. Number 15. What deck do you love in theory but not in practice? That would have to be the Alyan Tarot. I actually have the Alyan and the Alleyway Tarot. And I use the Alleyway Tarot better. I use it more than I do the Alyan Tarot. There's a couple of reasons. I think one is that the images that they used for this first deck, I'm just not as fond of them. I have a problem with both decks in the way that they have, every card has a different back. I'm not crazy about that. There's a series of 78 cards, it's called 78, where they have 78 different artists doing, collaborating to build a deck, and it's pretty cool, and they have the same backs, and that leads me into that makes me believe that I would use that deck more frequently than, say, like this one. Yeah, I'm just not fond of this. I'm not attached in any way. I don't care about it. And sometimes I get lost in what card means what. There's no there's no real system. So you have wands or fire or all the different things you can have for wands all mixed up together. The same way with pentacles and cups, and yeah, no, I don't reach for this at all. If all I were doing was just, grabbing a card to be inspired by an image, that would be something, I suppose, but this is not my cup of tea, I suppose. I love the idea of having different artists on each card, but I do want things to be a little bit more structured. So pull it together as a cohesive deck. Don't just leave it this random. Okay, so this is the Alyan Tarot. Oh, just an aside. The cards that have a little bit of edging, the metallic edging, gilding, whatever, they stick out more than the cards that don't. So they don't really feel smooth when I'm holding them either. Okay, just that little aside. I don't know if you can see it or not. So the next question, 16, is what deck would you never use to read for someone else? And that's like a whole category of decks. I said it last time. I would not ever use decks that have keywords to read for someone else, because keywords are easily read and interpreted by the querent, and I don't believe that I would give them a fully heartfelt reading if I knew that they were seeing keywords on the cards. I would try to make it sound like the keywords went along with everything else. I would not want them to have any preconceived notions or expectations for a reading of a card based on a word that is on the card. So, no cards with keywords for other people. This is a new addition to my collection, by the way. This is the Deleted World. So, what deck would you not use to read for someone else? It is any deck with keywords. Number 17 is what deck would you never use to read for yourself? And I use all my decks. That's really the true answer. But what came to mind is Tarot Cats by Alyan and the Vikings Tarot, because I got these for my husband, and this one sits on his desk. And I don't even think about it as a part of my collection. It's a part of his collection, which is one deck. But just to give you a little sneak peek. Here's the backs. And it's not that I wouldn't use it for myself. I would, but I just don't think about it. I don't consider it when I'm setting up my weekly spread. So and this is the Tarot Cats by Alyan. And I picked the Vikings as a part of this just because I haven't used it for myself yet. It's in the rotation. It will probably be used pretty soon coming up, but I did get it for my husband, and I have not, as of this date, used it. I went through that phase where I was fascinated by vintage decks, so this one's very used and worn by someone else. goodness. All right, so that's the Vikings Tarot, and these are all still available, mass market, so no FOMO. So number 18 is, what deck could you not bring yourself to buy? And that's easy. It's all of the Baba Studios decks. I really wanted the Fantastic Menagerie back when it was in print, and yeah, I was fascinated by it. I wanted it really bad at one time, and then, I don't know, I just kind of got over it and couldn't bring myself to buy it. There's like issues about the price, and also, you know, would I treat it differently because it's special? The reason why I wanted it so bad was because of my childhood books. See if I can open this. This has a lot of those type of illustrations that they used for the Fantastic Menagerie. I'm not in the right place for you to see exactly what I'm talking about, but I'm jiggling, sorry. But this book, I remember looking through this so much when I was a child. I just love Mother Goose and, yikes, nursery rhymes and fairy tales and all the things. So, gosh, where is it? Probably, there it is. Yeah. So I really felt like everything in the Fantastic Menagerie was based on this particular style of art, and it made me want it. But when it comes down to it, I still have my book, and I don't know, I just don't need that for a deck. So, what deck could I not bring myself to buy? It was the Fantastic Menagerie by Baba Studios. Number 19 is, what is your favorite pip deck? And right now I have two favorite pip decks. I love the Wooden Tarot. We'll look through that. And the Merlin Tarot. I'm really into these two right now as far as the pip decks go. I'm not sure. I may have chosen the Wooden Tarot the last time. I thought that I had chosen the Otherworlds, the Pagan Otherworlds, because those pips are just beautiful. But this deck is so odd and fun and very pippish, so it works for a pip deck, and it's really cool. And this is Alex. Well, you can go to skullgarden.net, but I believe his name is Alex Swartz. Oh no, Andrew Liam Swartz. Andrew Liam Swartz. He also did the Pathfinder Oracle. I'm trying to think of his other Oracle because I have it too. I'll think of it in a minute. But I love his work. It's just very creative and different. Okay, so this is Skull Garden, the Wooden Tarot pip deck. And then the Merlin Tarot. This one might look kind of ugly compared to the Wooden Tarot, but I love it. I don't know why I'm captivated by it like I am. It's also very different, but it's different in the way that it's structured differently. You can see the Magician is actually 8, the Fool is 7, Judgment is 6. But let me get down to the pips because that's why we're here. These are the pips. We've got beasts. This looks like it's probably a type of cow. It looks like an ibex without the horns, but it's the same creature on every... these are not in order at all, sorry. Okay, back to the pips. All of the beasts are the same image, same pip, and then they give you the keyword. These have horns. I guess they made room for them by having a lower number. That would make a lot of sense. Anyway, yes. They do look like ibex to me, though. I don't know. Let's see, serpents is the next one. You can see it looks more like a dragon than it does a snake. I love these cards, though. This is also, I think, still available mass market. Again, I got it used. I just wanted used decks at the time. This is birds. I believe, to me, this looks like a crane, but I suppose it could be... it could be a type of loon. The beak is a little pointy for a swan or a goose. Well, I guess it could be a goose, but it has a crest, so it's probably a crane. And then fishes is the last pips, the last suit. And these definitely look like salmon to me. That's a trout, though. Oh well. Whatever. This is R.J. Stewart, illustrated by Miranda Gray, and these two decks are my favorite pip decks right now. Number 20 is what deck slaps you in the face with the truth. And what I chose for this one is the Bonefire Tarot, Gabby Angus West. I've used this recently in my weekly deck setup, and she does not hold back any punches in her guidebook, and she uses all kinds of references in her imagery to just give you the most truthful, accurate reading you could get. And it is a hard hitter for sure. I was so happy that this got released mass market. I can remember seeing it on other people's channels and just thinking, gosh, I'll never be able to get that deck. It's just, you know, out of my reach and so on and so forth. But when it came mass market, it was like a gift. It was such a good thing for me. And I like the matte finish. I've seen comparisons where the glossy finish versus the matte finish. I really prefer the matte finish for myself. I think that the consensus was that the glossy finish has better saturation of the color, but I like the way the matte feels, and the edges are red. It comes that way. I'm so happy because then I don't feel like I have to do the edging. I don't feel compelled to ruin a deck with my own edging. Pretty bad. I'm pretty bad at it. You know, this is a very honest deck, and it is the Bonefire Tarot by Gabby Angus West. And prompt number 21, the last prompt, is what is the deck that got away? I will have to flash a picture up on the screen because it got away. It's the tarot, which, you know, it's just the standard her tarot deck. I have the Stunning Tarot, and you've seen the Nemeth, but her actual tarot deck definitely got away. I believe she said that she's not going to do any more editions, and the ones that are out there are very expensive. I feel like I probably will not get it. And don't take my word for it. I'm just going off of rumor. What I've heard is that she's not doing any more printings of that. I could be wrong. Tarot, pretty sure, has gotten away. Anyway, that was my revisiting of the 21 tarot questions by Lisa Papez and Peggy Papez. They did such a great job. I just feel like revisiting this every year. I know my answers are going to change the next time I'm up here doing this. So hope you guys have a great week, and I will talk to you later.